Moving now to the courts, and Duduzane Zuma's culpable homicide case has been postponed to the 12th of July for judgment. The Randburg Magistrates Court heard closing arguments this morning. Zuma's lawyer, Mike Helens, argued the state's 4 levels of negligence could not be proved. ENCA's Yanka Tome joins us now with the details. Good day to you, Yanka. Could you summarize what the main arguments are from both sides, the state and the defense?
Well, what the state came up first, and they basically told the court that Duduzane Zuma needs to be found guilty of culpable homicide and negligent driving because they believe he did not take the necessary precautions on that night when he was driving. Not saying that he was over the limit when he was driving, over the speed limit, that is, not alcohol, but the fact that it was raining quite heavily according to the witnesses, and the fact that he had to take that into account, reduce his speed and be extra careful when he was driving. On their version, they're saying that they do not believe that he did that. Also coming out today questioning the conditions of his tires and whether that had any contribution to the fact that he lost control of his vehicle. But the judge himself coming out questioning whether that was really explored during the trial and if it could now be brought up in the closing arguments. From the defence's side, they're saying that they're basically questioning the fact that the MPA went ahead with this case at all, saying there is no answer to the question to what Duduzane Zuma could have really done any differently. We're not sure at which speed he was traveling. If they say he needed to reduce his speed, what would be an appropriate speed to drive in when it is raining? And then the fact that the term aquaplaning came up once again, saying that he did not know that his vehicle was prone to aquaplaning, and that exactly is what happened when he hit the puddle on a national highway that he was not expecting, and then he lost control of the vehicle when it slammed into the taxi.
With no proof at all that Duduzane Zuma was going over the speed limit, doesn't the defense have a strong argument?
This is the problem. From the defense's side, they're saying that even the taxi driver and Duduzane Zuma, it seems that they were traveling approximately the same speed. So how then can you say that Duduzane Zuma is being negligent while the taxi driver was being reasonable? Duduzane Zuma himself, there was some debate around the exact speed he was traveling, but they said it was about 90 to 100 on the highway. That would be under the speed limit, but still, would it have been a reasonable speed if you were driving in wet conditions? We can't exactly say how badly it was raining. We don't know if there was a puddle on the highway. None of that can be disputed. So you can't dispute his evidence that that is exactly what happened.
Let's take a listen to a clip from Mike Helens. We were allowed with our cameras in court to hear closing arguments. Let's take a listen.
You don't have to drive down the road saying, what might happen? I better do 40 Ks because I don't know why I'm doing 40 Ks, but I'm a timorous, faint heart, not going about my life in a normal, robust way. I must guard against the unforeseeable. It's a hurdle that is not required of any person in society and not required of Mr. Zuma. No case has been laid out for negligence, and we would ask for an acquittal on the main, and I suppose also therefore on the alternative count.
Oh, there we go. Basically summarizing what we've been chatting about.
Yes.
I believe that the former president did slip into court, but he didn't arrive with his son. He came in a bit later.
Yes, he did so in the past as well, just waiting for the case basically to get started. We saw him coming in about 40 minutes late, but then he stayed throughout the proceedings. Even when there was a break, he remained there. And I did even hear him speaking to Mike Helens after the court, just thanking him for representing his son. And then Mike Helens even telling the former president that he seems to be pretty confident in his case against the state.
And we'll hear answers, final judgment, 12th of July.
Yes, so it was pretty quick this morning, wrapping up before 1, and then we'll be back on the 12th to hear both the judgment on the charges of culpable homicide as well as negligent driving.
Thank you very much, Yanka Tome.